Hi, everybody. Mr. Post here. We're going to do Chapter 15 notes. We're going to do three sections. They're going to be broken up into three sections, so you'll have three different videos to watch to get your full credit for watching these videos. So, without further ado, let me present my screen. All right. All right. Let's get started. Okay, so as you all know, we're doing the reformers. And as this loads, the reformers were people who wanted to change how things were going in this country. So the word reformer, to do again, form, to shape something. Reform is to form again or new form. A reformer is a person who wants to change things into a new way, because the way the government was handling business was not working. People were getting taken advantage of, and it was not a good situation. So let's move on to early reform. After the Civil War, millions of people from other countries came to the United States because of the people. We were growing strong, wealthy, and powerful. Like, we were going from an agricultural society to then an industrial society. And there's a lot of people coming here that are uneducated, that are looking for jobs. They're traveling and staying in cities in these tenements that were not very clean, or either not clean or safe, or very it was very tight spaces, sometimes without windows. So these people were desperate for a job, and people who were business leaders took advantage of that desperation, and the fact that there was a huge workforce supply to be able to just replace them. And so a lot of people became very rich and very greedy. Other people worked to reform, change, and improve business and government, which the only reason this happened is because businesses were not policing themselves. These powerful businesses were considered what's called the Gilded Age, and gilded means to be covered in gold. So many wealthy, rich people did not care about the problems of poor people in our society. But there were so many problems, and the biggest one was corruption. Many big business leaders became rich and used their money to do good things, though. Like Carnegie would set up a library, would build over 1,000 libraries with his money. Was one of the first public libraries, so people had access to books for free. Some big business leaders did not do this. What they used their money for was to bribe U.S. government officials to get what they wanted. A bribe is money paid to get something or do something against the law, if that wasn't clear. So people like John D. Rockefeller and Cornelius Vanderbilt, Rockefeller was an oil tycoon, as you know, and Vanderbilt was a railroad tycoon. Many of these leaders got laws passed that helped their businesses. Even if it wasn't best for society, it was best for them. And this is still going on today. Special interest groups do this all the time, where you see this with the gun company and the NRA. You see these with even like athletic companies. You see this with the companies that make supplements. These are people, they want laws passed that would help their business, not necessarily help people. Corruption in government is dishonest. It's not right. Many government officials were corrupt. They took bribes from wealthy business leaders who wanted to control their votes and bribe voters to vote for their candidates. So you wonder, how do these people stay in office if they are always taking bribes? And and doing corrupt things. Well, first off, to their constituents, they look like they were doing nice things. If you did your immigrant the political machine packet that was recently assigned, you notice that there is a couple sentences about what they would do in the community. They would find them jobs. They would, if someone died, they would pay for their funeral. If someone got hurt, sometimes they'd pick up their doctor's bills. They were still looking out for their constituents. They're still looking out for their community, but it was not because it was in the good of their heart. It was because they knew that there was a lot of money involved, and that these government officials would become rich if they stay in office. One of the biggest people that took bribes and political bosses during this time period was called Boss Tweed, or William Tweed. And he controlled the city government of New York. His nickname was Boss, and he controlled elections by giving gifts, jobs, favors in exchange for votes. You do things like kickbacks, which is an illegal payment for money made in return for a favor. You see this all the time, where someone will get a contract that maybe you're getting paid $10,000, but it only really costs $2,000 to do the job. That other $8,000 is being used to pay either Boss Tweed or some other boss, and also the construction company is taking it. So they filter the money and then use it and they give it back to the people who had given them the job as what's called a kickback. Now, kickbacks could be also in the form of gifts. It doesn't have to be money. It could be like anything that all of a sudden they're doing work, like they're doing work for free on the person's house or something like that. All right. Civil service is a system that includes most government workers who are appointed rather than elected. Civil service jobs were given to people by the president. That helped the president get elected. Now, this is a big issue that we still deal with today. People are not really qualified to be able to do these jobs, and so but they did help these people get elected. And they were very loyal to this president, and the president and other different officials will use their power to get them jobs they have no business doing, and such as like a tax collector or a person who is in charge of the postal service area. Or there's so many civil service jobs out there that pay well. They don't have a lot of strenuous work involved, and essentially that's how they would convince people to help them or repay them for their loyalty throughout their campaign. President James Garfield in 1880 was against civil service jobs just being given out. He did not give a man a government job, and that's how he got shot and killed in 1881. He didn't believe that people should be just given those jobs. They should have to earn them. So the Civil Service Act was passed in 1883. So a couple of years later, a law was passed that said people who want government jobs had to take a test. This test would show if the job seeker had the required skills for the job. This is the basis of civil service jobs in place today. So, for example, my dad had to take a test to become a postal worker, a mail carrier. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. That's the end of that presentation. That's the end of section 1. Now there's going to be a couple more sections coming down the pike that are going to be posted as well, but I want to break them up into 3 parts so that you guys didn't have a 30-minute videos to watch. You had more like a couple 10-minute videos to watch. So make sure you watch the section 2 and section 3 of these chapter 15.